Welcome back to Travel Agent TV, powered by the Hub Social Network. We are on YouTube to help you build your business. So if you're a travel agent and you want to learn from the best of the biz, subscribe to this YouTube channel because we're going to bring on smart travel agents and special destinations to tell you what's going on so you can grow your business and make more money. That is why we're here. So thank you for subscribing and thank you for coming by today. This is the third video in our series on destination weddings, and we have our destination wedding expert, Sarah Kline from Time for Travel in Davidsonville, Maryland, on the show today. Sarah, it's great to have you back. Now let's see, we did Destination Wedding 101. We did how to super serve the bride and groom. And today we're talking about turning guests into clients. And this video came out of something that you shared with me. Can you tell the story? Because I think this is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me again. Just the thought of destination weddings and you have a bride and groom, and along with bride and groom come anywhere from 20 to 100 people. So that's a great group of people to get with one booking, basically. And someone told me years ago that those guests are not your clients. And I thought, well, yeah, they are, because I'm still serving them and customizing trips. They're transactional. You book the bride and groom, everybody else is just picking a room and moving on. And I took that to heart for a little bit, but the more I thought about it, my referrals typically come from the guests of destination weddings, as well as my brides and grooms. So I decided to change that thought process and super serve the guests as well. So not only do I serve the bride and groom, each guest also can do a conversation with me, appointments with me. I customize their flights, their insurance, their tours, their transfers, room selections. And so many come back to me and say, oh, do you still do just regular vacations? Do you do, groups, family reunions, those kind of things? So that has turned into a tremendous amount of residual business.
And that's unusual. Isn't it usually just click here to buy the bride's package and good luck to you? And you're taking that extra step to make sure they get a customized experience?
I think that's how a lot of people are doing it. And I had thought about, that's a great way to quickly get bookings. But I think at the end of the day, they're not seeing your face. You're not seeing your company. They're not feeling any of the service level. I mean, anybody can just click on an OTA on a website and book something.
Mm-hmm.
There's no loyalty there. So I've built kind of a relationship. I mean, there's some times where I've talked to these guests far more than the bride and groom by the end of the process. And I've had guests turn their experience going to the wedding into huge vacations, far more than the bride and groom even spent. So I've kind of flipped what I learned in that forum that one day and decided to go the opposite direction and super serve everybody. And it's really paying off.
Now
So
it's interesting because if Aunt Millie lives 1,000 miles away, you're saying you have a chance to turn Aunt Millie into an ongoing client. So this works. You have clients that aren't in your town, that live all across the country, that came from doing destination weddings.
yes, yes, yeah. Aunt Millie may have never left the country before and never done an all-inclusive. And now Aunt Millie just went down to Mexico and had the time of her life. So she's like, I'm doing this every year. But I know the person to call, and I know who's going to hold my hand to take my payment over the phone, and because I don't do the computer and all that stuff. But this year I've done everything from Aunt Millie to some of the cabinet members for the islands in the Seychelles. Like, they were
Wow.
wedding guests, and now I'm doing their travel. So it's across the board. You just never
Mhm.
know.
Let's set expectations. Let's say that you have a guest party of 100 guests, and they might live all around the country. How many of those can you, if you do a good job, convert into ongoing clients, just kind of on average?
That's so hard because it just depends really on their personalities. I think if you get a good percentage, and some I won't hear back from for years. They may have been in their early 20s and been a guest, and then now 8 years later they're getting married and they think of me again. So it's a tough question, but I definitely know that I retain a good percentage from each wedding. And if nothing else, the person in their office is getting married and they've referred me, or their
Yeah.
cousin's getting married. So it's a referral process. So it's priceless advertising.
And it's one of those things. The reason why I ask is that sometimes when you hear someone say, turn guests into clients, someone might think, oh, well, if I got 50% of the guests, I'm doing an okay job, when in reality, it's 7 to 10. That's kind of what I'm looking for, like some sort of guidepost about, on average, if I can keep 10 of
Yeah.
100, I'm doing a good job, or I'm not Sarah Kline if I don't keep 50 of 100. That's kind of what I was looking for.
Yeah, it would be a great thing to figure out. I've never sat down and done the numbers, but I will give you one example. Years ago, I did a wedding for a girl locally here on the East Coast. She ended up going to college in the Midwest, and it was some Bible college.
Mhm.
I got passed around that Bible college. I did 8 weddings from that one. She was a wedding guest on the East Coast. She moved out to the Midwest, and they passed me around, and I'm now 8 weddings deep
Wow.
within this group. And now each of those 8 weddings came with anywhere from 20 to 80 guests. So it's the snowball effect.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hooray, Bible college. All right.
Yeah, it was
While we
great.
still have you, let's talk tactics just for a second. Can you share anything you do specifically to make a relationship with the guests while they're still a guest on the initial booking with the bride and groom?
I do. I mean, I always start out with just an email, but I put out there that if they want to talk through it, here are my contact numbers. And some of them just want to get on a phone call and talk through their room choices. So it's not where I just push them to here, click on this button and book. I make myself available the same way I would to the bride and groom to all the guests.
That makes a lot of sense. And giving them that extra touch. Is there anything else that comes to mind when it comes to the concept of turning wedding guests into ongoing clients?
In a perfect world, if follow up, if you put them in your database or, a lead generating system where you reached out to them a year later, hey, wouldn't you want to go again? And I'm not there yet. So luckily, I'm busy enough that I haven't needed or had a chance to do that. But that is in my future plans is, why not? They were already your customers once. You kind of know what their preferences are, is to maybe do, how about a family reunion? How about that group go, away together again? So that would be next.
If this is one of your first episodes of watching Travel Agent TV, hopefully now you can get a feel for what we're going for. Interview an expert agent so you can get the information you need to grow your business and to make more money. Sarah Kline is our destination wedding expert from Time for Travel in Davidsonville, Maryland. I keep on saying Davidson. Why do I do that? Does anyone else do that, or is it just me? Davidsonville, Maryland. It
Just
is
say
such
Annapolis, close enough.
yeah, DC area, right? Whatever.
Yeah, there you
Whatever
go.
it is. It's great to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.